Greetings, community. It's Kevin of NCBD Comics, and I'm here to bring you another edition of Kevin's most anticipated reads tomorrow for New Comic Book Day, 5/22, 2024. And here we are once more. It's almost New Comic Book Day. Well, it's a Tuesday if you're watching this on the live, and if you're not, on the Wednesday. I appreciate you cruising through and checking it on the rewind. Let's talk about this week's books, but before we do, let's go ahead and recognize those that decided to hang out with us on the live. Las Cruces, brother, I appreciate you greatly, and don't ever change your underwear or your socks. Ever. Let's cruise over to Boom Studios to talk about two books that I've been looking forward to for a little bit. Let's first talk about Grimm, issue 17. The only problem I'm having with Grimm is it's not consistent on the release dates. That's it. Other than that, this is one very enjoyable book. This has been one of the best ongoing series that I've been reading, definitely coming out of Boom Studios. I'm just saying, it's been enjoyable, it's been interesting, and it's been captivating, and not saying nonetheless. I've really been digging the fact that it's been taking a couple twists, a couple of turns, and more, it's really been just opening up as a read. It's just been one question answered, two questions that now linger in the asking. That's just the way the Grimm's been, and it's been really enjoyable exploring this world of Grim Reapers. Hey, we got a couple more people that decided to jump on in. And hey, Christina, I appreciate you dancing with me all night long. So after that, we're going to go ahead and move over to Man's Best. Man's Best is an intergalactic tale of animals there to protect their masters in space, essentially. So Man's Best, issue number 3, is awesome ongoing. Well, it's not an ongoing, awesome little mini that's been, I guess, on a level that's been just every time I've been expecting something, it's really been taking me back. So I every time I've been trying to be an active thinker in this book, it's really been taking me back, and it's been forcing me to settle down, enjoy the read, and just understand that it's all about Man's Best. Just saying. So yeah, I'm really interested in checking that out tomorrow, and that will be issue number 3. It's been rather enjoyable. After I talked to the creator, I really been able to get a deeper understanding of what's been transpiring, and I really been enjoying this book. So Man's Best, issue number 3, coming out tomorrow, 5/22, 2024. Let's move out from Boom Studios and cruise over to IDW and talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Source Book, issue number 3. As I may mention before, this thing is so forensic and so, how to say, almost like instructive, and it breaks down everything on a very fundamental level on all these characters in the past, the present, what led, how they came to be, everything. So what I decided to do is I am not going to read any one of these books until I get all the books in their entirety. I am having trouble, and then read it all as one book. It just seems that it would come across a lot better, and it just seems that I would be able to really assimilate everything properly. So I have a better understanding of really what I'm reading, as opposed to waiting month to month and putting together this whole world that I really thought I kind of understood, which I really don't. So again, that's why Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Source Book, issue number 3, comes out tomorrow. But I'm looking forward to reading it. But after I get all the source books, which there's 4, and then reading them in their entirety. Just saying. Let's move on from IDW and cruise over to Marvel. Marvel's going to give us a list. I'm just saying. Starting it off with Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 50. Here we're going to get a Spider Goblin. The Green Goblin comes back. It starts off a whole new arc. We're kind of done talking about the Blood Hunt stuff as far as Spider-Man's concerned and his ongoing series. There's a lot going on. I'm just saying. So it's going to be an extra thick book, extra price, extra everything, extra covers. I just hold on to your seat and get ready, because it should be a pretty interesting story. Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 50, coming out tomorrow, 5/22, 2024. Woo! Moving out from that, let's cruise over to Blood Hunt, issue number 2, Red Band. I've been enjoying the Red Band stuff. A little more blood, a little more gore, a little more story, but you have to pay a little more. I'm Not worried about the extra buck as long as I get an extra story along with it and a little extra, art. I'm cool. So I've been enjoying the first one. I just read, what was it, the Free Comic Book Day, the Red Band, Amazing Spider-Man. Um, I haven't read Doctor Strange, so I'm still a little behind on some of the supporting acts to this stuff. However, Red Band issue number 2 is a main aspect to the storyline, and it comes out. I've been enjoying every part of this so far. So I'm just saying it's been a pretty good read thus. Hey, Tony, I appreciate you doing. I'm doing good. How you doing? Moving on from that, we're going to talk about Ghost Rider Final Vengeance, issue number 3 of, I believe, a 5-issue mini that has been awesome. I really like the Hood being taken on this persona. So I've been enjoying it thus far. I can't get enough, and that's why I can't wait for issue number 3 to drop tomorrow. This is way up there on my most anticipated reads. As it's been going the past, 3, maybe 4 years, I've been enjoying all these Ghost Riders and ramping up my enjoyment as it seems. Every time a new Ghost Rider mini comes out, I've been enjoying the writing more and more. I mean, Piercy knocked it out of the park, and people before that have been doing well. But it just seems like now that we got the Hood and we got a great story writer, this is everything that I've been asking for. So issue number 3, halfway through, has just been way up there on my most anticipated reads for me. Just saying. So I can't wait for it tomorrow. It's going to be on that. It's going to be high on that top stack. Saying. All right, moving out from the Ghost Rider Final Vengeance issue number 3, we're going to talk about Immortal Thor issue number 11. This has been a really solid read, and I can't get enough. So, it's been rather solid, and it hasn't been going up or down. It's just been really just awesome. It's been interesting because I think that the writing is getting more in the styling of the 70s and 80s, in the sense of more of the, how should I say, Nordic speak. It's been really kind of throwing me because none of the tales in the past almost 5 years have been this heavy in this type of tongue. The writing's been awesome. I can't get enough. And that's why I think Groenbeck is pretty sure that's who's doing this, right? If I'm wrong, throw it in the chat. But what I'm getting at is the writing has been really cool and consistent. And I've been really enjoying the fact that we're getting a solid Thor story. So Immortal Thor is really high up there on the list for me. Issue number 11. Let's move out from there. Let's talk about some Spider stuff. Started off with Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider issue number 1. I was not trying to get this book on the last volume, so, the series, and I gave up on that, and I ended up buying it. So I'm already just pre-ordering all this stuff as it stands. And, these stories as like Ghost Rider tend to get better and better for me. I enjoy them. Are they going to change your life? No. Are they enjoyable? Yeah, they've been really fun. Also, I'm really big into strong female stories, and these stories have been kind of decent. I mean, they've been worth the buck, they've been worth the read, and that's all it really means to me. So that's why, again, talking about Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider issue number 1, it's pretty high up there on the list for me. Also, look out for that one per store if you're in store for such a book. Just trying to really rhyme that one. Didn't work out. Anyway, moving out from there, Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider issue number 1. We're going to talk about Spectacular Spider-Man issue number 3. Now, this is a spider story that involves 2 spiders, one of the Miles and one of the Peter, and I really have been digging it. I think these guys need to be doing an ongoing series. This should not be a mini. I hope it isn't. I hope it's ongoing because it really works out for me. I really enjoy these two, the way they key off one another, how the story is developing, and the fact that it really takes the strengths and weaknesses of both characters and shows you to them how strong they are for one another, let alone how strong they are for protecting the people, but how the other one will point out the other's weakness and try to assist and help in what ways they can, and also recognizing in themselves that they have still places to grow. That's what I've been getting out of this, and that's why I really have been enjoying Spectacular Spider-Man, which comes out tomorrow, 5/22/2024, issue number 3. Let's move out from that. Talk about Superior Spider-Man issue number 7. Why? Spider-Boy. Yeah, we're going to get a Superior Spider-Boy, I think. That's the way it seems like. That's what it was leading to. That's what it was alluding to after 6. This is cool. What we're getting is a full integration of Spider-Boy, and Bailey's not going anywhere anytime soon. This kid Briggs is just awesomeness, going from superior to just awesome superior. All right, I'm hurting. I'm stretching. I'm looking. I'm really digging the Superior Spider-Man. It's been an enjoyable read for me. I was really never that. I didn't read the past stuff. I really wasn't educated on how this Superior Spider-Man stuff worked out. As I've been reading this story, I've been reading into the other stuff in the history and the lore of this canon of the Superior Spider-Man, and I enjoy this. This is kind of cool. It's rather unique, and when we get into stuff that is a little more internal, a little more mental, I kind of enjoy it. It's just stuff I really dig. Hey, Miwad, I appreciate you being here, brother. You the man. All right, hey, got lost in the chaos. Just saying. Let's move on to Superior Spider-Man issue number 7, which we're going to get a Superior Spider-Boy, I believe. And let's talk about Symbiote Spider-Man 2099 issue number 3. Just finished 2 last night. Yeah. Anyways, holy shnikes, Miguel. What have you become? And what is going on? I think I'm going to have to get some of that old Spider-Man stuff. What was that? This branching off from issue like 43 back in the 90s or something like that. It's a trap. It's cool. Like I said, when I read issue number 2 and I closed it, I was like, my God, this is gnarly. It's some reads really kind of pull you in. Some reads you kind of gloss over. Some reads are so immersive, not because of necessarily the story that they're telling, but the story that they're alluding to, and the art just captivates. In the case of this is kind of elements of all. And what it's doing, and again, only by issue number 3, is it's asking of the reader to just understand that there's going to be a lot more than any one aspect that they may be used to reading of a Spider-Man story. If that makes sense. So again, this is another one of those stories that kind of took me back and it forced me to slow down a little bit and go, wait a minute. This is not something you're going to have to rush through. There's some elements here that you're not used to seeing in a Spider-Man story, or because I'm not, again, kind of like in the case of the Superior Spider-Man stuff, I'm not really educated in the Symbiote Spider-Man 2099 stuff. So it's forcing me to kind of mellow out and take in on a little more passive level as opposed to being so active in the reading and trying to run through it. And I've been enjoying it for that very reason. So again, like every story, every book, every tale that is told, this is enjoyable on its own merit, and it's been really interesting, and it's forcing me to read in a different way. Just saying. But that's all right. Moving out from symbiote stuff, moving out from the Superior stuff, moving out from Spider stuff altogether, and cruising out from the Marvel. Let's go over to the Image universe and talk some Image books. Start out with Blue Book, 1947, issue number 4. Now, the first volume was kind of cool, and I thought it was interesting. Second volume, 1947, that is digging us deeper, and we're having a bigger understanding of where all this transpired. Now, for those of you that may not know, which I totally didn't until I started looking into this, Project Blue Book kind of originally opened up its book. I didn't mean to do that one, in 1947. And that's why the volume 2 is called that. So a lot of this information was really being compiled heavily in that time era. And it wasn't only until recently that the government opened up to the public a lot of this stuff. So this is Tynion's way of being able to tell to the layman stuff that they never were privy to before or really that much interested in, that is getting it in a context in a way that I never would have normally received. And it's been enjoyable as hell. Project Blue Book is just something that I think would be kind of just interesting watching on the History Channel, but being that I get into content and context of comics, this is freaking awesome. Blue Book, issue number 4, kind of, again, all these Blue Book things are really giving you the story from the person that it was really affecting and kind of first and second hand kind of accounts. So it's been not only interesting, again, to get it from that way, which we could get it in other contexts, but being in this comic form and it's written by a writer that I really enjoy. I'm reading stuff that I would never in a million years be into. I'm not into UFO stuff, but I am now. So that's why Project Blue Book 1947 issue number 4 is up there on my list. Just saying. Who would have guessed? Who would have thought? All right, moving on from that, let's talk about Cobra Commander. This is the whole Energon universe. And we're kind of ramping up its first leg of it right here. All right, so here what I'm talking about is Cobra Commander, issue number 5 of 5 is giving us the end of that aspect of this form of this arc. So what it does, it takes us nearly 2 arcs in the deep as far as Void Rivals and like a Transformers type thing. We get an arc and a half. But what it really is doing is it's branching off and giving us of those branches, those miniseries like Cobra Commander is what I'm talking about, and Duke. When they sever and they're done, all they're doing is it supports and launches other ones that are coming out, which is like Scarlet and Destro, sorry, and other books that will be coming soon. So again, talking about this one, Cobra Commander issue number 5 of 5 is not so much finishing off as much as it's just tidying up this aspect of this art so it can then further on more this universe that's been not only ever growing, but ever growing more enjoyable, which is difficult for most, how should I say, whole universes. It's difficult for most to do because you start getting aspects of it that you just no longer are interested in, and this is quite different. Every aspect of this universe is something that to be enjoyed and something to be, well, read. Just saying. So that's why Cobra Commander issue number 5 is up there on my list. Let's talk about Local Man issue number 10. This has been issue number 10 of a series brought to us by Tony Fleets, and it's been, as Tony always does, enjoyable as fuck. Local Man is a story of a guy who just can't get his shit together, and he's a superhero that just doesn't really have it superly together. He's trying, I'm just saying, and he's trying to figure things out, and he's starting to learn that things are not quite as they seem. As he's pulling the veil across of what's really transpiring in his little town that he grew up in, he's seeing there's a lot of work that still needs to be done, even though he's really not the guy to do it. He's the only guy that can. And that's why, again, Local Man is not only high on my list, but has been recognized as one of those Eisner nominated stories that is so well deserved. And I'm totally happy that this is one of those books that is getting one of those nominations, because not just because I enjoy it, because I respect the person who's writing it. Just saying. So Local Man issue number 10 is high on my list. Now let's move out from that and talk about Rook Exodus. Here's another universe that's in small in its infancy, in its birth, and it's really developing really well. First book of Rook was really interesting. The world that we're getting introduced to and the realm of which that this universe is starting out from and how it's all interconnected is leaving me rather just more than interested. It almost seems like an enigma. I don't know how all this branches together in any way, shape, or form, but it obviously has to. And that means that this world, universe, is going to be massive. So we're asked to go ahead and take these individual books and just enjoy them on their own merit and just sit back as an audience member, even though we're actively reading, to be able to enjoy the fact that this one day, soon it's going to be probably months from now, is all going to interconnect. And we're going to sit back after reading this stuff and go, whoa. I think that's where we're going to be with Rook Exodus and with, oh my God, my boy, I know. People, you know what I'm talking about, with Geiger, and there's another one, so Redcoat. This has really been really cool, and it's something that I really, and like I said, am interested to see how this gets put together. I've been enjoying it so far, and I can't wait to see how this all works out in the end. Hopefully there won't be an end. You know what I mean. All right, let's move out from Rook Exodus issue number 2, talk about Void Rivals issue number 9. So what I was talking about the whole Transformers thing, Cobra Commander and stuff like that. As Void Rivals enters into issue number 9, this is where things are really going to start to ramp up and change. Transformers are making themselves really known, and we're starting to see a lot more integration into the mechanized universe that we're living in that is influencing these characters that we're seeing that started everything off. I didn't think I'd put it together that well. So that's why Void Rivals, even though it was the first book, is to me still one of the more important ones, even though it was really launching something bigger than itself. It's still the root of all. And I'm enjoying it as it stands on its own merit. Again, as its own book that started it all. You can read this and not even be reading any of the other ones. Whereas if you're reading any of the other ones, you know that you're missing stuff. So that's why, again, Void Rivals, issue number 9, is massively high on my list. But hey, what we're really here to talk about is you got it. You got it. The Blue Light Special. This week's Blue Light Special, 5/22 for 2024, is Feral, issue number 3. Again, another Tony book. Felix is just killing it with his writing. He's been awfully busy, and I've been enjoying everything he's been doing. This is just one of his masterpieces of late that to me really stands out. Feral is a book that I know is going to be an ongoing story that we're going to look back on possibly years down the road and hopefully decades and go, I was there in the beginning. Not only was I there, but I was talking about how much I was enjoying it. And I was always hoping that it would be this wonderful movie, this wonderful story, this wonderful trade, this wonderful whatever we are remembering it for. I just want to say that we were all here saying that, yeah, this is a book that I thoroughly enjoy. Now, I don't know about you. That's I'm speaking for myself thoroughly, but I know that there's others out there that are enjoying this book. I'm hoping that this turns into one of those Walking Dead type sensations. Aristocrats meets Walking Dead. That's what you're getting with Feral. And the fact that we already got some hard-hitting stuff that already transpired in issue number 2 already goes to show you that this is not going to be a story for the light of heart. And it already shows you how well it's written to go ahead and start tugging on heartstrings when we're already only put pages into the story of something that's going to be, fundamentally speaking, ongoing for quite some time. Hey, I'm just saying that I can't wait for this book tomorrow, Feral issue number 3. And moreover, I want to actually recognize those that decided to cruise in last moment. Ben, Meatwad, dude, Tony, all those that decided to cruise in, Las Cruces, Christina, and anyone I may have missed. I wish you a happy and healthy new comic book day. There we go. And that's it for me, Entropy. You take care and you stay well.